Thursday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful was nothing short of a soap opera spectacle, one that blended raw emotion, romantic nostalgia, and simmering tension under the surface. Fans who have followed Brooke Logan and Ridge Forrester's decades-long roller coaster romance were treated to a ceremony that was equal parts breathtaking and chaotic, a moment that could go down in history as one of the most memorable weddings in B&B lore. A day of anticipation. The Forrester estate had been transformed into a floral wonderland. White roses, Ridge's choice, symbolized purity and new beginnings, while Brooke insisted on pale pink peonies that spoke to her softer, romantic side. The contrast of their selections seemed almost poetic, foreshadowing how this union, like every union before, was about merging two clashing worlds into one. Guests gathered with bated breath, knowing this was not the first, second, or even fifth time Ridge and Brooke had exchanged vows. Their love story had been rewritten, torn apart, stitched back together, and burned to ashes more times than most couples could survive. Still, there they stood again, determined to prove that love conquers all. Brooke's entrance. As the opening notes of the wedding march began, whispers rippled through the crowd. Brooke, radiant in a gown that shimmered under the golden light, floated down the aisle with a smile that was both triumphant and vulnerable. Her dress, sleek and classic with lace accents, whispered of timeless romance, while the train was deliberately dramatic, because if Brooke Logan knows anything, it's how to make an entrance. Her children, Hope and RJ, flanked her proudly, though each wore very different expressions. Hope beamed at her mother, convinced this union was a fresh start. RJ, however, exchanged glances with Thomas, clearly uneasy about the idea of Ridge once again pledging his heart to Brooke while his mother, Taylor, remained painfully absent. Ridge's gaze. Ridge Forrester stood at the altar in a tailored black suit that exuded quiet strength. His eyes locked on Brooke, and in that moment, everything else disappeared. Years of betrayal, forgiveness, passion, and heartbreak condensed into a single look. He smiled, and the crowd sighed, swept up in the idea that perhaps this time, just maybe, Ridge and Brooke could finally get it right. But Ridge's mind wasn't entirely at peace. For a flicker of a moment, his thoughts drifted to Taylor, her absence a loud silence in the celebration. He quickly pushed it aside, reminding himself that he'd made his choice. Today was about Brooke, the woman who had challenged, infuriated, and completed him for decades. The vows begin. The officiant welcomed the guests, speaking of destiny and soulmates, words that felt tailor-made for Ridge and Brooke's tumultuous saga. When it came time for vows, Ridge went first. "Logan," he began, his voice catching slightly. "Every time I've tried to walk away, life has pulled me back to you. You are my compass, my partner, my greatest joy, and my biggest challenge. Today I vow to stop fighting fate and to start honoring it. You and I, we're forever." The crowd erupted into soft murmurs of approval. Brooke's eyes shimmered with tears, her lips trembling as she prepared to speak. "Ridge," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "From the moment we met, I knew you were the love of my life. We've had our struggles, we've lost our way, but somehow we always find each other again. Today, I vow not just to love you, but to cherish every imperfect, extraordinary part of you. You are my destiny." Emotional reactions. The guests reacted in waves. Hope clasped her hands to her chest, visibly moved. Katie dabbed her eyes, whispering to Carter that Brooke's words struck her heart. Eric smiled proudly, clearly rooting for his son's happiness. But not everyone was swept away. Thomas's jaw tightened, his mind racing with thoughts of how his mother deserved to be standing where Brooke stood. Steffi wasn't present. Her silence spoke volumes. Liam shifted uncomfortably, knowing that Brooke and Ridge's reunions often sent ripple effects across the entire family. The kiss that sealed it. When Ridge and Brooke sealed their vows with a kiss, the room erupted in applause. It was long, tender, and brimming with the kind of passion that reminded viewers why their love story has captivated fans for decades. For a moment, all the pain of the past seemed irrelevant. Brooke and Ridge stood victorious, a couple reborn yet again. Trouble brewing beneath the surface. But in true bold and the beautiful fashion, peace rarely lasts long. Just as the celebration began, whispers spread among the guests. Carter received a phone call and excused himself urgently, his expression grave. Hope noticed RJ staring into the distance, troubled. And in the shadows of the estate, someone unexpected was watching. Taylor. Though she had sworn to distance herself from Ridge's choices, Taylor couldn't help but arrive quietly, unseen. From the edge of the property, she watched her lifelong rival marry the man she still loved. Tears streamed down her face, her heart breaking as Ridge kissed Brooke with the same passion he once reserved for her. Her presence wasn't revealed to the guests, but the camera lingered on her sorrow, reminding viewers that Brooke's triumph was also Taylor's devastation. The aftermath. As the guests toasted champagne and Brooke basked in the glow of her new forever, the narrative began setting up the inevitable storm. Hope approached Liam, giddy with belief in love's resilience. "See? If my mom and Ridge can find their way back, anything is possible," she said with wide-eyed optimism. Liam, however, didn't look convinced. He muttered something about patterns repeating, his mind clearly elsewhere. Meanwhile, Thomas whispered to RJ, "This isn't the end of the story. It never is with them." RJ sighed, conflicted. He wanted his mother happy, but couldn't ignore the pain it caused Taylor and his siblings. The cycle of Logan versus Forrester loomed large, and tonight's wedding vows felt less like a resolution and more like the spark to ignite another round of family drama. A final toast. The episode closed with Ridge raising his glass. To destiny. To family. To Brooke. The guests cheered, glasses clinked, and Brooke glowed under the admiration. Yet as the camera panned out, it captured Taylor's retreating figure, slipping quietly away into the night. The juxtaposition was heartbreaking, a wedding full of joy for some, and a dagger to the heart for others. The screen faded to black with a question lingering. Was this truly Ridge and Brooke's happily ever after, or just another chapter in their never-ending saga of love, loss, and betrayal?